Hey there, my name is Lexi and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be reviewing the book My Dad and Me by Claudette King. Now, I actually finished reading this book maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. I finished it right after I had finished the Etta James story. So I've been done with this book for a really long time, but I guess I just didn't do a good job of making sure I made time to review the book, and I was lazy with my looks at the time. But today, my hair and makeup was done by my pretty boyfriend, so I'm feeling nice and presentable, and I figured, let me stop messing around and go ahead and review this book. Also, like an insider sneak peek, I guess, Claudette is currently recording the audio for the audiobook of this book that she wrote of My Dad and Me. And so that was another thing that prompted me to go ahead and do the review. So let's get right into it.
Goddamn, raise your hand if you working hard. Goddamn, raise your hand if you know you say, yeah. She work, hey, she work, hey, she work, okay, yeah. She work, hey, she work, okay, she work, she say. You can tell them that you say, you can tell them that you say.
I have been working with Claudette King for 3 or 4 years at Rich Productions. For those of you who may not know who she is, or that name doesn't ring a bell, she is the baby girl of the late, great, legendary blues king, king of blues, B.B. King. So she is the daughter of B.B. King, and she is also into music. She does sing blues, but her passion is mainly within R&B and sometimes some hip hop tracks when she collaborates with other artists. So she released this book this year, 2020. And I think she actually released it like 3 or 4 months ago. So what would that have been? September, October, November, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, May, June, July? I don't know. I really should have thought about that before I started this review, but she released it early 2020. So I was able to get a copy, and she actually signed it for me. So anyway, I bought it from her in person, but it is available on her online store. And some things that I really like about this book is the fact that it is such a quick and easy read. The words are written in a way that I'm a big fan of things that are written in a way that sounds like how the person sounds like, or sounds like a way that I could imagine that person speaking. So the words are really easy to read. It's just the way that Claudette is. It's really easy to talk to her about pretty much anything. And there's wide spacing in short chapters, so it makes you feel like you're getting through the book very quickly. And I'm really glad to have read this book because, you know, I've been working with Claudette for 3 or 4 years at Rich Productions, and during our sessions we do have like little chit chats, but there were still some things in the book that I did not know about her that just never came up in conversation when we were working in the studio, when we were at the session for her. So I'm really grateful for some of the things that she put in there. Some things were painful, but yeah, I'm really happy that she shared that. So that being said, the only thing I don't like about this book, I don't want it to be like come off as negative or whatever, but it's the fact that it is so short. This book is only 110 pages long, and like I said, I went into this book immediately after having finished Etta James, and Etta James's book is like almost 300 pages long, so I was really expecting more in-depth kind of biography or autobiography. I still get confused about which one of those I'm supposed to use when the person themselves wrote it, but I just wanted to read more, and I guess that's a good thing that she left readers wanting more, but I feel like a lot of things just kind of barely touched the surface on some of the things she went through growing up, some of the struggles she had coming into the music industry, and even right now I'm in the middle of reading a book. It's called More Myself by Alicia Keys, and there's just a lot of detail that's gone into that book and Etta James' book that I didn't see with Claudette's book. So a few examples I would give is there was a childhood trauma that she went through as a little girl, and I wanted her to talk about how that affected her relationships. And she did say that, you know, it made her trust in relationships basically gone because she didn't really trust guys. But I guess I wanted to read about like specific examples within relationships. Like, okay, in Etta James's book, she was naming people. There weren't many names dropped in this book, so I was kind of hoping to hear more names dropped in a more detailed way, the way that Etta James was. I'm comparing it so heavily because, as I said, I had just finished Etta James and went straight into Claudette King, but I just wanted to read more in depth. Like, okay, this specific relationship, I went through this, and this is what happened with this man. This is how we met. This is how we got to whatever crossroads we got to. This is how it ended. Next guy, where I felt like my relationship was tainted by my experience from way back when. This is how we met. This is what we went through. Da 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 da, so on and so forth. It affected me mentally in a way that such and such. But what I learned was blah, blah, blah. And so I really wanted to see more specific examples of actual people, and like more of a timeline of certain relationships that probably shaped who she became as a woman. Ew. I hate when people make that mistake of women versus woman. It's many women, a woman. So I can't believe I almost spoke women when I'm supposed to be using it in a single form. But anyway, so yeah, I really wanted to read more detail about her relationships and how what she went through as a child shaped her interactions with people. And then there was mention of drug use and how she was abusing drugs. There were mention of the kind of drugs she was using, but I honestly, unfortunately, do not remember any recollection of her saying specifically how she got hooked onto drugs, like who introduced it, when was her first time trying it. And granted, it was a long time ago that I read the book, so that's also on me for not being able to pinpoint what she may have said. But even with that, I wanted her to dive deeper into her mind about why she felt she had to do those things, because for me, I'm having a hard time remembering if she ever pointed that out, you know what I mean? So I wanted her to dig deeper, like I was going through this, maybe there was a depression or a weight gain or pressures from being the daughter of B.B. King. I don't remember. I would have to read the book again actually to see if she mentioned anything like that when it comes to her drug use. But you know, I guess overall, the book was really good. I like how easy of a read it was, and it definitely let me on to some things that I did not know about Claudette. But I wanted also, as a female artist, to hear, you know, what kind of struggles did she go through in the music industry. She did say that she had to find a voice for herself and learn how to stand up for herself. Otherwise, people, especially as a woman, will walk all over you within the industry. But I wanted more instances of when she struggled on this journey as an artist, the expectations that she probably had to live up to as the daughter of B.B. King. Or we've had conversations in the studio where she said, you know, blues is not, or she mentioned it in her book too, blues is not necessarily her thing, but because her father is B.B. King, people sort of expect her to do a certain thing instead of like branching off and doing her own thing. And I wanted her to talk more about stuff like that. So that can be seen as a positive or a negative, you know. I want to know more. Will she write another book? I don't know. She's definitely working on the audiobook for this one, so I'm excited for her on that, and will definitely probably post some snippets or something on my Instagram and Facebook pages. And I got my Twitter back, so I'll do that as well. But that is my honest review of the book My Dad and Me by Claudette King. So let me know what you thought about this review, if you'd be interested in reading the book yourself to form your own kind of judgment and opinion, to see if anything that I said about this book holds any merit with you. So you can comment down below if you're interested in getting the book. I will leave a link to where you can purchase it, or I can also figure out how you might be able to get a signed copy by Claudette herself and have it sent to you. Just let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for joining me for this book review. My name is LexC. Make sure you like, give a big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each and every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time. Peace.